to be named legal counsel to a governor, which, by the way, was the beloved Governor Doherty. Vicki currently serves as treasurer for the Doherty campaign. Vicki is well respected in the state and by the Portuguese community. Please welcome Vicki Almeida.
Thank you, Linda. And greetings to all my fellow Cumberlandites, Democrats, Republicans, Americans, one and all. I have known Brendan for 30 years. As some of you know, Brendan and I have kept company with some of the most notorious bad boys and wise guys. He is a member of the Rhode Island State Police, and I is a member of the Rhode Island Parole Board. He is also my neighbor and my friend. Brendan needs no introduction, particularly in Cumberland. In fact, if you ask anyone to sum him up in 2 words, the answer will be integrity and honesty. The other 2 words that come to mind are servant leader. Someone who was my mentor and who was a premier servant leader was Joe Doherty. And I know that he would be proud of me today, working for Brendan Doherty. I think you will agree with me that Brendan is a servant leader. One who does nothing out of selfishness, but rather he humbly regards others as more important than himself. He has displayed numerous and diverse acts of courage in fighting organized crime, the local and national wise guys, the drug cartels, and becoming the 11th superintendent of the best state police department in the country.
I'm sorry, my understanding was that this was a public event.
He also has had the courage to show compassion when he talked to Vietnam vet into putting his gun down and then drove that vet to a hospital to get the help he needed for serving his country, rather than taking that vet to the barracks, booking him and fingerprinting him and treating him as if he were a common criminal. Brendan honored that veteran as the patriot that man is. The compassion to spend days at a hotel accompanying family members, desperately awaiting word of loved ones during the station fire, while simultaneously overseeing the investigation of the fire itself. It is time for Rhode Island to send a person of courage, integrity, and compassion to Congress. Now we will see in the days and weeks ahead the attempts to wage war between and among Americans by gender, age, and socioeconomic class by some members of political parties and their candidates. I think, I hope, I pray you agree with me that we are sick and tired of the politics of fear and division. Our duty as citizens is not to any political party. Our duty is to our country and to our fellow citizens. The Chinese use 2 brush strokes to write the word crisis. One stroke stands for danger, the other stroke for opportunity. The Chinese advise us that in a crisis, we must be aware of the danger, but we must recognize the opportunity in that danger. I suggest to you that Washington is the crisis and Brendan Doherty is the opportunity. We need in Washington people like Congressman Nunes and Brendan Doherty who have the courage that counts. Those willing to bear the struggle day in and day out. Not the sunshine patriots. We know who they are. But we want people who are willing to stand up, not just for some of us, but for all develop those talents to ensure a better life for ourselves, our children, our aging parents, and those who are developmentally or otherwise challenged. Please, I beg you, do not listen to those who seek to instill fear in us and hopelessness. Let us not despair, but let us act to ensure change and elect a person who will restore integrity, honesty, and common sense to Washington. Let us accept our own personal responsibility for the future of our country. As President Kennedy said, let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. The question is, who should we elect to represent the 1st Congressional District of Rhode Island? The right answer is Randy Doherty.
Thank you very much, Vicki. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. I'm so honored that Congressman Nunes would come here from Washington and by way of California. I greatly appreciate that, Congressman. I'd like to thank all of our friends here at the Madeira Club for their help, and the host committee. Thank you so much for putting this together, and the president here, Joe Andres. Let's give him a round of applause. I am very, very fortunate to have many friends amongst the Portuguese American community here in Rhode Island, and I'm proud to be a member of the Lusitania Club down the street, around the corner, and hope to someday be a member of the Madeira Club. I'm also grateful for the strong support my campaign has received from the Portuguese American community here in Rhode Island. This support is essential because, as many of you know, the 1st Congressional District is the most Portuguese congressional district in America. The local Portuguese community also benefits tremendously from the work of groups such as the Madeira Club and the Lusitania Club, which has been part of this community. The Madeira Club has been part of this community for the past 85 years, hosting numerous public events and sponsoring scholarships for local students. And I commend them for that. Like many similar organizations throughout the 1st District, the Madeira Club and its members have maintained their strong commitment to the support of the local community. The Portuguese American community here in Rhode Island demonstrates, as well as any other ethnic group, that with the right combination of hard work and devotion to family and community, the American dream still lives. When I am elected to Congress, I will work to bring those same values of hard work, self-reliance, and devotion to family and community to the rest of the United States. America is the greatest nation in the world. But our politics is broken. We're too polarized in Washington, and we need members of both parties to reach consensus on critical conditions facing our nation. Today, I am very, very pleased and proud to welcome a member of the Ways and Means Committee from the 21st Congressional District of California, Congressman Devin Nunes.
Amongst fellow Portuguese Americans. As Brendan said, this is a district that has the largest percentage of Portuguese Americans anywhere else in the country. And I know a lot of people are always, the first thing they'll ask me is, well, what part of Portugal are you from? So I want to say that my family's from the Azores. My father's family is from a little island called San Jorge. and my mother's family is from a little island called Pico. So I don't know, is there anybody from San George or Pico here? If you are, you're the best folks that there are in the room. I do want to introduce my chief of staff who is here, Johnny Amaral. His family is actually from San George. And so, across the country, the Portuguese community is very different. One of the things that you'll find in this area where I've been several times, my wife actually has a family that lives in New Bedford, and my grandmother actually has a brother who lives in southern Mass also. But one of the differences that I find when I come here to this area is that there's a lot of folks from the mainland of Portugal, and there's a lot of people from Madeira, and there we go, all right. There's a lot of people that are from San Miguel. Now in California, you don't see very many folks that are from either San Miguel or mainland Portugal or even Madeira. And so my community tends to be certain islands. I evidently went to my area first, and so you have these communities. In my area, I have 17 different Portuguese clubs. Of course, I'm sure that you guys still fight over who's better, Benfica or Sporting or Porto, right? It's all the same. But let me tell you why I'm here. I am here because Brendan Doherty reached out to me over a year ago, came to my office, and he said, you know, I know you're a Portuguese American, and I want you to know I'm running in this congressional district where it has the largest Portuguese population. I told him, yes, I'm very familiar with it. And I said, I'd love to do anything that I can to reach out. He told me at that time that the Portuguese American community was going to be a cornerstone to his campaign. And I'm happy that Brendan's following through on that message that he gave to me, and he's actually performing out in the field. Now, you folks know him a lot better than I do, but I think the one thing that you know throughout his career is that this is a man of character. This is a man who has immense character.
I'm sorry, it was advertised publicly. I understood that it was a public event.
And that's what I saw when I first met him. That's what he's doing now in his campaign. And let me tell you, folks, I've been in Washington
I'm sorry,
now. I'm just finishing my 10th year.
It was advertised as a public event.
And we need a lot more people of character.
I would like to speak to a manager.
I am the manager.
Than what we have in Washington.
No, I meant, I'm sorry, either the owner or the manager of this club.
This is our event. We've rented out the club. We've made it open to the
There will always
media,
be
but not
differences.
open to
Right
the
from the San
public. It's
Joaquin Valley, very different to this part of
I understand. Would it be all right if I stopped filming and just stayed and listened?
No, it's part of the event.
We need less partisanship, and we need people who will work with all of the communities within their congressional districts and bring those ideas to Washington in a bipartisan way.